Hey everybody, this is Michelle Rushing with Stampin' Butterfly. Thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. I'm a little bit earlier. Usually I do my videos at night, but I had some time this afternoon. I thought it'd be fun to hop on. It is November 10th and it's about lunchtime. So wanted to take some time to show you last month's paper pumpkin. So in order to subscribe to our all-inclusive kit, you need to subscribe by the 10th, which is today. So I'm going to do this video on last month's kit. If you're interested in the upcoming kit, today is the last day to subscribe. So let me show you real quick. There are 9 little treat containers and it is going to be super cute. So there's 3 different designs and it's food safe, so you can put gifts in there, you can put food, give them to your coworkers, your hairdresser, lots of different options. So if you're interested in that kit, please make sure you see the link in my descriptions and you'll be able to subscribe. But make sure you do that today if you want that kit, because there's no guarantee that additional ones will be available for sale. Sometimes we also do refills where it's just the paper components and not the stamps and ink. But again, no guarantees on that. I know the October kit, the refills came pretty quickly and sold out, so I missed out on those. But anyway, I wanted to take a quick look at the kit with you guys. So let's flip down and I'm going to turn off my host code. If you do want to place an order, I do have it at the top of the screen, my link to my shopping site and my host code. So feel free, and I will put it in the comments as well in case you want to link over to the store and do a little holiday shopping. But let me go ahead and turn that off so it is not blocking our view. Okay, super. So let's take a look at this past month's kit. I want to share some alternatives with you, and then I have a couple extra pieces. So we will also be making some cards on the fly. So I haven't actually designed them, I just have some random scraps. So we'll make a couple cards, I think. So our kit this month has an exclusive design. They always put your little description so you know what month and the name of the kit. And when you take a look inside, in case you're new to Paper Pumpkin, they provide you all the instructions. And this month, the envelopes are just gorgeous. So we don't want to waste the envelopes. I took them apart and made some fun alternatives. So your kit will tell you what's included. They give you some alternatives. And it shows all your components. So as with Paper Pumpkin, your first kit comes with your block. So you'll get a nice block to use with your kits each month. And make sure you save that because that's what you'll be using. Now, if you are a crafter, you may have some additional blocks that are a little bit thicker. Like these are my regular Stampin' Up! Blocks too. So I have some of those over here. Your kit will also come with an ink spot. So these are nice little minis. Our full-size kits or ink pads look like this. So what's nice is these are great for traveling. The small ones work good for your Stamparatus if you're using that. So lots of different options. And you can re-ink these just like you could a regular ink pad. So they last a long time. Then our kit has some really great stamps this month. Loving all the sentiments. There's Merry Christmas, Peaceful Christmas Wishes, Holiday Cheer, From Our Home to Yours. That one's tiny, to you and yours. And then there's some inside sentiments as well. So let's see, it's a little hard to read through here. And I think I stamped some of these on the cards. Sending you peace and joy all year long. And this one says, wishing you and your family all the best. Then there's some snowflakes and little trees that coordinate. So amazing stamp set. The kits are a great value. They're only $22. And once you're done with the components, you still have lots of, trim and things you can play with. I'll show you some options for that. And then you have your stamp set. You can make tons of cards with these. So I'm going to go ahead and set those aside. Now I did go ahead and, like I said, I did play with the kit a little bit, so it's kind of a mess in here. But these are the 2 cards as they were designed. So this is the card per the instructions. There's a white insert and then pretty pattern on the back. So what I did for some of my alternatives is I didn't want to waste this whole beautiful piece of cardstock. So I cut it up and made a couple of cards, and I'll show you those in a few minutes. And then this is the second card as designed. And again, it's white on the inside and then colored. The green, and then you've got your plaid. And then your gorgeous green envelopes. So they have silver foiling of trees and then the plaid inside. And as you can see, I started pulling this one apart. You just kind of wedge through. You can run your finger under there. You can do your bone folder. But I wanted to make some additional cards. So, you can just run your bone folder underneath there. and then you've got some more paper to play with. And I'll kind of show you what I use this envelope for in a little bit. Other components of your kit, you've got some twine in here. They gave you some glue dots. Not glue dots, these are dimensionals. Your glue dots are over here. And then everything's die cut for you. So there's some flags that you use on your card. There's Noel and your silver foil. And then there's some trees, your little sentiment tags, and then these beautiful shiny rhinestone guys. So just so much fun. And then, like I said, everything's kind of cut out for you. Here's some of your backgrounds, and then your card bases. So it all comes in your kit each month. Different, it's a surprise. Sometimes they give us little sneak peeks, which they've been doing lately. So let's take a look. What I did, so like I said earlier, I took apart the envelope and I made a few cards with the pieces from here. And then I also cut this one card apart so I can make more. So let's take a quick look at some of those alternatives and then we'll play with a few pieces. Now, one thing to note, I guess I should pop this over real quick. This paper pumpkin, so if you love this and you missed out and you're kind of sad, because the refills are gone, it does coordinate with one of the items in our catalog. Well, it can coordinate with a lot of different things, but the one in particular is the Peaceful Place Suite. So if you're loving this paper, it doesn't have the green plaid, it does have a gray plaid in here. But if you're loving this paper, you can order this suite, and it has similar sentiments. So this suite has like a wood grain embossing folder, some pretty velvet snowy sheets. You've got some gorgeous organdy ribbon. I just ordered that, so it hasn't come in yet. The sequins, and then this paper. And I do have it somewhere over here that I will give you a closer look at it. But different cards, so you can see this kind of fun tree that they cut out. If you look here, they do have a die cut that is very similar. And then you've got the cabin sentiment. So here's our sentiments here. It's a similar font to what came in the kit. Let's move it in sight. And it also has these pretty trees, the cabin you can stamp, and then the dies are a little tiny, but they do have trees that cut little holes in these, so those coordinate really pretty, and they do have dies that cut similar to that. So you could make something similar if you missed out on the card kit, or if you have the card kit and you want to make it last longer, there's some additional products you could buy. Let me set that down. And where's the paper? Wanted to give you a glimpse because it doesn't do it justice sometimes when you're in the catalog. So and this is called Peaceful Place, 12 by 12 paper. Let me pull it out real quick. I've been making some cards. I'm going to do a Sweet and Simple Christmas card class locally. So I've been designing some cards, so that's why these are kind of chopped up. But you'll see there's silver foil on one side. That's like a wood grain. And then there's some trees, and you can color these with your blends. So if you don't want it to be all black and white, same thing with these. This is pretty much like our card front. You'll see right here, same thing. And you can color these as well with your blends. And then there's some gray pretty. So you can use that throughout the year even, because these are wintry. So it doesn't have to be Christmas. So if you've already made all your Christmas cards and you're ahead of the game, you can still use these for winter thank yous, things like that. And you can use your blending brushes and color the background. And I did that on some sample cards I'll be posting on my Facebook page later. And again, you've got the gray pattern in the back. This one has the snowflakes, and there's silver foiling in here. Let's see if you can tell. I think so. And then here's our plaid. So, this is a little bit smaller gingham, and it was green, and this one's gray. Now you can use your blending brushes or your sponges, and you could make those green. So you could get pretty close to the kit if you're looking for additional options. I got all kinds of stuff stuck over here. Let me move that out of the way. Okay, so here's some fun. It almost looks like snow or raindrops coming down, and again, that's foiled. And then this side has some of the cabins that coordinate with those dies. And you can color the little cabins, you can color the trees with your blends. And what else do we have? This guy. So this one's kind of fun. I cut this as a square and framed it, and then you could decorate it. It has some mountains. And again, this is the foil. And then these are the cute little tiny trees. So I just love this paper pack. I thought there was one with really tall trees. Let me look and see. No, I think that's it. Maybe it was this one. So Oh, I think I made a slimline card because it was a really tall tree. I didn't want to chop it up. So anyway, those are the coordinating paper. So again, if you want to make your card kit stretch further, you can add on some of these additional products. Or if you missed out and you want to make your own something similar, we do have products that will coordinate and get you there. All right, back to our card. So let's take a look at the alternatives. So for this card, let me show you what I did. I think it was these two cards. So I went ahead and trimmed the card in half at the score line, and I trimmed it down just a smidge so I can border it with the red. And you could border it with green, you can change up the colors. I used some sheer red ribbon. These are the stamps from the kit. So I just went ahead and used the little snowflakes I stamped off in smoky slate, or that might actually be basic gray, and then used the real red. So the card kit uses cherry cobbler and shaded spruce, but I wanted to pop some red in there. So this one's the cherry cobbler, and then this one, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, is the real red. And then I haven't cut an insert yet, but I'll cut an insert because it's black. So I'll do a white insert and do some stamping on that. And then this one is the back of the card. So if you look here, what I did is I just trimmed it smaller, and then I just did little pieces. So if you wanted to know the sizes, so I think I just even cut them randomly, which isn't like me because normally I measure everything. So this one I did 1.5 inches. This one's 1 1/4, and then that one's about 1 inch. And then I just spaced them out. The tags, these are both from the Hippo and Friends dies. So I just die cut a bunch of those. And then for this one, I used the black glitter ribbon that we have. So out of this one card, I made 2. Plus I didn't use any of these components. So I have extras of those now to use on another card. So when I'm done, I'll have quite a few cards, I'm sure. So the next card, I just wanted to play with the actual stamp set. So these are the trees, and I just stamped the very tops of them along the bottom. And I stamped off one so they wouldn't be too dark with the shaded spruce, and then did some of that. Now in here, let's see if you can tell. Yeah, there you go. So I used the evening, what's it called? Yeah, Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. So I embossed some white, layered it on some Night of Navy, and then used my blending brushes with the shaded spruce and a little bit of Night of Navy, and just colored that up and did some stamping. So that's a way to use your stamps without even using your components. I did have a little piece, actually this is from the kit. So this little teeny plaid right here was a scrap from the envelope I had cut off. So I had a little thin piece when I trimmed it down on one of my other cards. So I did do that. Now let's see. So when I cut apart the envelope, so let's take a look at the envelope again. So I trimmed off this piece right here and made this card. So this envelope, I think I made, what, 1, 2, and I probably have 2 more cards I can make out of it. So I might get 3 or 4 cards out of this one envelope, depending on how you cut your pieces. And we're gonna play with those extra ones in a little bit. So I used our sentiments. This little border die, I believe, is from the Many Messages. That's the one that cuts a whole bunch at one shot. It's like a big, long die cut. And then I used some of my snowflakes. So what I did is I just had some silver foil paper, and I cut the snowflakes out of the center so I didn't waste it. And then I mounted the piece of the envelope on there and used some of the gems from the kit. And then this one's kind of fun. So I also cut the Happy. This is from another die set we have, and it's in the Words of Cheer bundle. I die cut that out of this silver center also before I glued it on there, so I didn't waste any of that good silver foil. Now this vellum is actually the garbage piece or scrap piece from when I made this card. So if you look here, I popped this piece out to make the card as designed. And then I took the extra piece and I glued it on here and then just covered up the little pieces with the Happy. So it gives me a whole nother card using just scraps. And I used the cherry cobbler on this to kind of stick with the color theme of the kit. And then the background on here, so this paper is a little bit different. It's not as thick as a cardstock. So what I did is I ran this chunk here. So after I cut this piece off, I ran this chunk through the embossing folder. And what's kind of cool is it shows a little bit of white through because it's such a deep embossing folder. So it gives it some white texture, and I didn't even have to do anything. The embossing folder just did that. So that's something fun for that one. So those are the alternatives. Let me double check. Yep. So those are all the alternatives I made. I do have 2 pieces left. So when I cut up the envelope, you know, so we use this piece and this piece. I still have my envelope flap left, and I have a scrap from here. So this piece, oh, actually this piece is probably this flap right here. So yeah, so I trimmed up some different pieces. So this little back is this green front flap from the envelope, and that's what gave me that fun texturing with a little bit of white in it. So I have 2 more pieces from my original first envelope. So we will probably get like 4 cards out of that. So I thought we can design these together and just kind of play around with different things we have. So let's move some stuff out of the way and do a little stamping and creating together. So I pre-cut a couple of things just to get started. So I have a couple of card bases. So these are 4 1/4 by 11, just scored in the middle. And I thought that would be fun, and just some standard 5 1/4 by 4 to layer on the front or on the inside, depending on what we decide we want to do. So that one will go to that card. I'm going to move that envelope over. And let's see. So I was thinking we could probably put this across here and maybe mount it on some cherry cobbler, so to keep the same theme. So we are going to need our paper trimmer. Let me grab that out real quick so we can trim some things down to the right sizes. My favorite strange little ruler. So we're going to want it to be 5 1/4 inches long. So we just need to trim this a little bit. So we're going to measure that off to the 5 1/4. Just trim a tiny bit. And that looks good. It looks like my piece might be a smidge off. See how that kind of hangs a little bit short? Or maybe it's because I'm sitting so low. So we'll just trim a piece of our cardstock. And let's see if that matches better. So yep, so now we're trimmed for that. And then we're going to do the same thing for this piece. So we're going to trim this at 5 1/4. Put that over there. And now I usually like the 1/4 inch border, so that's pretty thick. I mean, we could technically go with that. I think I need to trim a smidge off of that one too. Usually I stand up when I'm using my paper cutter. So when you do so small, it doesn't always cut so pretty. All right. But I think, let's see. I think we're going to trim it just a little smaller. Let's think about that. What do we want to do? Yeah, I think I want it to be a little smaller. So let's see how wide our little plaid strip is. So that's 1 1/2. So we're going to want to make this 1 3/4 wide. And we'll just line it up on our paper cutter and trim just a little bit off. And let's see how that looks. All right, that looks much better. Okay. So next step, I think we'll do some stamping. Let me get some grid paper out real quick so I don't make a mess. All right, we have one of the Noels we could use if we wanted. So we could kind of put that on our card and maybe use a couple of the trees. So let's take a look at our Vellum Trees. And this is how they come out. So let's pop these out. And we'll see. Just want to be delicate not to damage the vellum too bad as you're pulling things out. And I think you can even turn some of these upside down and get more trees if you trim them. I used them just as a whole square on the one card that I made. So let's see. Gingerly working it out because I'm trying not to rip it. And I might want to use it again later. Like I said, can make some more cards out of these. And your negative space works really well a lot of times for these kits to make fun additional elements for cards. All right, we're almost there. Last piece. Come. All right, all the little pokies attach. All right, so if you look here, you could kind of turn this upside down. And those look like trees too, so you could trim them here and have some funky trees. Maybe trim the edges a little bit, so you could get some additional trees out of that one. We'll stick that in the box for later. Let's see, what other random things do I have over here? Here are our gems, in case we want to use those. Some glue dots. And then I think we'll use a sentiment from the card kit. One of these tags. Well, we have Noel. We really probably don't need that, so maybe we won't use that. All right. I think I want to add some trees, so we'll take the tree stamp off. So these are, when you're using these photopolymer stamps, you can just reuse your block each time. So I have, I'll just use my paper pumpkin kit that came with it. So we could maybe do some trees along the top. And one little popped up here. So I think I want two at the end. So I think we'll trim these apart. Let me find my scissors. And just do a little trimming. All right, so now we have more trees, getting more use out of our little kit. And, well, I thought I had two trees. Somehow I must have trimmed one less, or he disappeared because he's vellum. So let's see. Do I want to steal one more? Maybe we'll just stick with the one. He's kind of cute by his lonesome. No, I like the second one. Okay, we're going to take this one too. All right. Let's see. There we go. Now when you're using your vellum, you'll see that you can see the glue dots a little bit. So you sometimes have to be a little strategic as to, you know, where you put your glue dots. But we'll figure that out in a little bit. So I'm going to use my full-size ink pad. I just find it easier. I like to save these to give them away to customers as little prizes and presents. So I'm going to save that and just use my big ink pad. All right. So I think that's about where we're going to keep it, but I think it'd be kind of cute to have little trees across the top. So we're going to test it, and if we don't like it, our paper has two sides and we can flip it over and go with the white one. So no worries there. So you want to ink up your trees really well. And sometimes when you have solid images on your photopolymer, using a foam piercing mat just below your stamp when you're stamping works well, but I don't think we need it for this. Okay, so we'll go about here. And again, you know, you're creating as you go, so you'll see, and you can decide if you like it or not. And you could technically, I think, line them up, but we're just gonna make two little trees next to each other. So I think I've done that as well, where you can line this one on top of that one. So that's kind of fun. They're going a little downhill, so we'll see how that lines up. If it looks too crazy or not. So just cleaned off my stamp a little bit. Let's see how that looks. So that's kind of fun. All right, we could still put something up here if we wanted. I think we'll just leave that open though. Okay, so let's go ahead and close up our ink pad. And do a little gluing. So I'm gonna get my... Now you can use the glue dots that they provided, but I'm just going to use, for quick and easy sake, my Tombow liquid glue. It's my go-to. I like it when I'm trying to line things up because it gives you a little wiggle room. So if you're down a little crooked, you can readjust it and it doesn't stick right away. All right, then we're going to glue this layer down. And get in there. So we'll cover some of the base of the trees. Just leave a little strip. Hopefully it's about the same across the bottom. All right, and we'll put it on the card front while we're at it. Let's just put that card front on the base. And you'll see, like, can kind of line it up in the center. And again, you can wiggle it a little bit if you wanted to. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and put the Noel on. So I'm thinking we'll just mount that there. You could cut your little dimensionals and pop them up if you want, but I think we'll just use the glue dots they gave us. And we'll put them on. So we'll just peel a couple of these off with our take your pick tool and stick them in a couple places. Try to find the wider spots to put them so they don't poke out. That should be enough. And then we'll just peel the backings off. They are so tiny. All right. Now we can put the Noel there, and let's take a quick look. Oh, my vellum tree, where did he go? Oh, there he is. You could also color these with your blends. So if you decided, oh, they're too light for me, you can, you know, color them with your sponges, your blended brushes, anything like that. So I think I want it to be over. Hopefully it didn't stick too hard. We'll see. And do we want it at an angle? Angle's kind of cute. All right. So there we go, push down our glue dots. And then on our trees, I think I'm just going to put kind of one at the bottom here. And one on the side of that one. And depending on what you're covering it up with, you might, let's test it and see. So we could do that. That is cute. I had pre-cut a little ribbon. Oh, here we go. So I think this is some of the Cherry Cobbler gold ribbon. Even though that's silver, you can mix your metals these days. So maybe we'll give it one more. Let's see if I'm going to put the ribbon over the top. I might be able to put one more glue dot on it. This guy to try to keep them in place. And we'll just stick them down. There. And let's see. There, so we've got our two little trees. And then we'll take the knot. Let's see which side looks better. I think that'll be the back. Glue dots are a great way to put on your ribbons as well, because they don't get all gooey with your liquid glue. So I think since it's such a thick ribbon, we'll go ahead and do two. Pull the little backings off. And we can put it across our trees to hide our glue dots. All right, that's kind of cute. What do you think of that? I think we need some more bling, so wish they gave us more gems. These are super cool. They're kind of like a silvery color to them. All right. And maybe we'll do a couple around the tree or something. Let's see. Maybe one there. Usually want to do odd numbers. One here, whenever you're putting on your embellishments. All right, I think that's kind of fun. So what do you think of that for an alternative card? And again, we're still using a piece of the envelope that I cut up the other night. So we have only really used the two full cards from the kit and an envelope, and we have lots. And I did cut up the one extra card too. So, but we've got lots of pieces. You can make these into tags. Let's see, maybe we'll do, how are we doing on time? Maybe we'll do one more card. So this one has the glue on top, and I thought I could cut out like a word from there. And since my to-go class this month is featuring the word, Words of Cheer bundle, I kind of had that on the brain. So where are those dies? See. So I thought that happy would be cute in the plaid. Let's take a look at that. So, ooh, we could do little holly leaves too, if there's enough room. Let's see. So I think we'll just do the lower label of the happy, and then we could do the holly berries. Let's give that a whirl and see how it looks. All right, so let's move these out of the way. I'm going to stand up and get my die cut machine. And let's move this slippery paper so it doesn't go crazy. All right, is that in view? Yes, but I'm going to crash into a few things. Let's move some stuff around. All right, so whenever you're using your Stampin' Up machine, you want to make sure you have your right plates, and they have all the instructions. I totally love that. So you're going to use plate 1 and plate 2 because we're die cutting. And then you always want to have your sandwich so you don't cut into the things you don't want to, because these get cut up, but we sell replacements, so no worries there. All right, let's see if they stay in place. Do we want the plaid to be at a diagonal? I wonder how that's going to look. We'll try and see. Okay. No sliding. Could use some washi tape to hold it down, but we'll give it a whirl. Looks like it all cut. So let's move this stuff back out of the way. Okay. Let's bring our scratch paper back in. And let's see what these guys look like in plaid. Maybe a good idea, may not. We're learning as we go. Working on it together. So those are pretty small. You can't really tell that they're plaid, but at least it's the same color green. It matches pretty well, so that's kind of fun. And we didn't go on the sticky part, so trying to avoid that. All right, we'll put that over there, and let's check out the happy. See if that's big enough to tell. And again, the plaid is so light on this. I don't know if you guys can tell or not. It's kind of cool. You can't tell super that it's like really plaid because it's so skinny, but it gives you kind of a neat striping almost through your paper. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we have another card base just like the one I cut before. So we have our 5 1/4 by 4 white insert and then our card base. And we can, let's see, what do we have? 4 fun pieces. Let's check what the kit gave us. So, let's see. We have this little banner, so we could probably pop out one of these. And let's see, is that long enough? Almost. You could kind of put that across there. Maybe we put it underneath. Maybe we'll die cut some trees in here. What do you think of that? Or we can stamp them. We have our stamp. Let's see. We could do that too. So what other goodies are in here? Oh, we still have some more of our vellum trees that we cut up. Let's see what these little 3 guys look like. So they get lost on the white paper. We don't really want to put them on there unless we were to put some color back into there. So, or we could color those with our blending brushes. Do I have my green? We could. Well, maybe we'll do that. We'll give it a little bit of green to it. So let me grab my blending brush. And we'll try to color our trees. So we'll take our ink pad and do a little dabbing. Oh, I hate to make my paper all ugly. Let's see if I have a scrap. I like my little Christmas paper. All right, so let's see. Here's an ugly piece we can blend on. Otherwise, I'm going to get green on there, and then it's going to get everywhere. Okay, so you want to start off, see how dark it was? And then you can move on to your trees from there. Just gently going over them. Now, the other thing you could do is, look at how cool that is. You could use it as a stencil. And we could have stenciled the trees on there, put the trees on a different card, and left the stencil ones on that project. So that might be an option too. Let's see. So this is just kind of how I create. I play with all the different doodads I have and see what comes to mind. Oh, so that looks kind of pretty up there. Oops, it's kind of off the screen a little bit. So I think we'll go with that. Oh, not too bad. The Green Finger Club. think I still have some green on my finger from the other night. All right, let's see. I think we're gonna stamp in Cherry Cobbler Sentiment maybe. And we can use one of these tags. Let's see. Now, if you decided you didn't want the silver foil, you could always flip your tag over, use that side. We could color this. That looks pretty good. It gives a little bit of pop. Or, let's see. All right, what sentiment do we want to use? And this says happy. Let's see. We might want to use the stamp set that's already with this. So let's see. Let me grab the other stamp set. So the Words of Cheer has a happy day, holidays, and Christmas. Let's do holidays this time, maybe. One of these. So you can, work with anything that you have in your crafting kit and substitute as you go. All right. Oh, I have this scrap. So I colored the tree on this when I was testing it. That's one of my little scraps. It's kind of cute. I'm trying to see if I have any skinny borders. Don't think I brought any over here. Let's see. Oh, I have this one. This one is probably better. It's a little bit smaller than this one. All right, so I had this die cut from the little hippos. Oh, that's because I already stamped it. It has a Merry Christmas on it. Okay, well, we could use the other side. The stitching is slightly different from one side to the next, but I don't think it's going to matter. Let's try it and see. Happy holidays. That looks cute. We can put it over the red, and then we can put some of those little holly berries underneath it, maybe. All right. Still feel like that background's a little bit too much white. Do we want to add some snowflakes? We could do snowflakes, or maybe we emboss it with those trees. Let's take a quick look and see. That might be kind of cool. Should we try that? Let's give that a whirl. All right, now we got to move all our stuff out of the way and get our die cut machine again. So we want to use plate 4 this time and only plate 1 with the 3D. So here's our 3D embossing folder. Now to make it even more fun, you could technically put some ink on the inside and run it through, and that would give you some green trees. Let's see. I think we want it to be about there. And there's a line here too to help you line up your paper if you wanted to make it straight-ish. And your trees wouldn't be too crooked. I wanted some gap up there. I think that's good. All right, when you're doing your 3D embossing folders, you want to make sure you run the, there you go, this part through first so it doesn't have a tendency to crack if you run it through other directions sometimes. All right. Give that a quick run through. And move this guy out of the way. All right, I think that's gonna look good. So we'll move our card parts back in our project. So white on white, oh, there you go. If I do it at an angle, you guys can kind of see how it looks. All right, so we're gonna put that on there first. Decide which side you like. Get my liquid glue. And we're gonna run this. Because it's embossed, I like to put a lot of glue to hold the right pieces down. And I'm going to set that there. That way it holds better. And then we will test where we want to put our stuff, right? So we'll put some green trees here. Maybe we'll do this across here, and then we'll stick some holly out. Okay, I think that looks good. Question is, where did I put those little dots? All right, well, let's see, the happy. We'll just go ahead and put some liquid glue on that. Let's get the adhesive out and get this going. Try not to make too much glue on there so it doesn't ooze out. Just holding it down. All right. Put that over there. Give it a second to dry. Let's see, so we're going to use some glue dots on our trees. Let's flip those over, grab those on our little take your pick tool. And let's see, you're going to see our dots no matter what we do. We might add something else to it later, so right now we'll just go with that. We could always add some more if we need to, if it doesn't stay as well. All right. Oops, sticking on my finger. Oh, with the dimension behind it, you might not notice as much, so that's kind of good. All right, I think we will put a little glue across here and stick the sentiment across. And we can put a couple glue dots on the other side for our holly, which is my top. There we go. You can use that to pick off the back too if you want. I usually just use my fingernail. But if you don't have any, you could use the tool. Let's see how that looks. So that's kind of fun. And then we need some dimensionals. Where did they put them? Okay, so they gave us some in the kit. So we'll go ahead and use some of those. Now you can also use the edges, so don't throw those out. You can trim those with your scissors and make skinnier pieces. So for instance, if I wanted to do that, I could run this right in the middle. So see, it gives you a little skinnier piece. It's kind of cool. It's a different size. All right. If we had our red rhinestones, we could add a little gems on there. So let's see. I think we'll put that about there. Make sure it's straight. All right. Ooh, my ink might have not have been a little dry. It's a little pink. Okay, so there's another alternative you could do. And again, we just used a few extra pieces from what we had from the kit anyway. And added a couple other things from our crafting arsenal. I'm sure y'all have lots of different products that you could substitute in. So these are the 2 extra cards we made today. I think that's all I wanted to share with you guys. Let me flip you back. So just want to take a minute to thank you for stopping by and spending some time this afternoon with me and taking a look at our cards. So let's take a quick look at all of these cards. So again, these are the card kit as designed from Stampin' Up. So these are your 2 card kits. And then these are all the different things you could do with your kit. So lots of fun. And always interesting. So, you know, you could step it up or down. You can use your kits however you like. But this just gives you some fun ideas on other things you can do. Again, if you want to get a hold of this month's card kit, the Gifts Galore, which is the treat packaging, make sure you sign up by tonight. I think they probably cut it off at 11:50-ish, maybe Mountain Time. So make sure you look in the description below to subscribe if you're interested. I also do a Paper Pumpkin Club once a month. So we get together on Zoom at the end of the month. It's usually the last Sunday, and we will put together our kit. I'll share any alternatives, or we'll just hang out and chat. So I hope you'll be able to subscribe and join us for the next event. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Have a great day.